Yeah. What up, Taylor Gang?
It's your boy, you get shit.
Hey, see, I get it like that. See, I get it like, hey, see, I get it like that. See, I get it like, you look fresh and fly. You try hard to get it like that. You try, get it that. Get it like that. You look fresh and fly. You try hard to get it like that. You try, get it that. Get it like.
You can call me your car, I hit it like that. Matter of fact, get hammer, smash it like that. Yo, nigga wanna be me, radio flow, the whole world can hear me. Just call me genius.
Stop what you're doing.
Okay, spit your zone, yeah, I'm that dude. Flow nasty like old folks knew, and I'm so rude, cuss like a sailor. All-star flow, call me Chuck Taylor, and I go in, no pen, no paper. Had to do a second mixtape for the haters. Sugar can't die, won't die, or will be. Even if you never touch me, you feel. She heard 690, yeah, I could tell, cause I turned to the hammer and she turned to the nail. And of course I beat it up like Ike or Chris.
No L.